My name is Fred Mitchell. I'm the fire chief in Mansfield. I'd like to welcome you all to our documentary on the fire department. Our goal is to provide a little bit of information on the fire department and our future goals, but also explain and educate you on our past and our challenges of today and what we foresee for the future.
The Mansfield Fire Department, serving over 25,000 people in Connecticut's Quiet Corner, responding to more than 2,300 calls for fire, rescue, and emergency medical services each year. A combination career and volunteer department with a rich, active history, now suffering from a nationwide shortage of volunteer firefighters, placing an increased strain on the remaining career staff.
We've identified that, yes, at one time this town had a great volunteer base. That's gone.
As the town continues to grow, it's going to continue to put a strain on our services. The strain is just going to constantly get worse.
In this job, you don't want luck. We're fortunate. We have to make sure that the deck is stacked in our favor, which is beneficial to the community.
We're in the seconds count business. Every second counts.
There was two fire departments in the town of Mansfield. There was the Mansfield Volunteer Fire Company and the Eagleville Fire Department. In the early 60s, it was identified then that there was a need to put paid staff in the firehouses. In the late 60s, 4 people were staffing 3 fire stations, 2 for Eagleville, 1 for Mansfield. And this maintained the career side of the department up until 2005. During the 60s and 70s and 80s, we had a very good volunteer career base. And the volunteers were supplementing the career staff. It was the job of the career staff to get the truck to the scene, and 10 or 12 individuals could arrive in personal vehicles or ride in on other apparatus to address the issue. As time has gone on, the volunteer base has lessened, and our career side has maintained the same. So we're doing more work with less people. Many of our volunteers back in the 60s and 70s owned local businesses in town. They could leave their business to go to calls. Well, now we're moving into the 90s and the 2000s. These same individuals can't leave their businesses, can't leave their jobs, and many of them have had to move out of town for work. So therefore, our volunteer base has dropped because they just can't go to calls. It's of no fault of the volunteer side. The demands put on volunteers are the same as they are for a career firefighter, and it just comes down to time, the allotted time. They just don't have the time to fulfill the standards that a volunteer is expected to fulfill, to be an EMT, to be a firefighter 1 or 2. They need to maintain the same level of training as a career person does. So with that said, early on, the standards weren't as stringent as they are now. There were minimums that could be done for a volunteer could do, but they're no longer the case. Since the 2005 consolidation, the departments have grown. The one thing that hasn't grown is the staffing levels. Our staffing levels are still what they were in the late 60s with the career staff. And our volunteer base, again, at no fault of the volunteers, is gone down. It's diminished. And that is all because of demand. So if I had to look at something pros and cons, pros, I would look at the purchasing and resources that we have. The cons would be the lack of staffing. We do not have staff.
Basically, what we're looking at for future development is the Four Corners area, a second downtown area, kind of a resemblance of Stores Center. Recently, Wyndham Tech has announced that they're going to be coming to town and going down towards west of that Four Corners intersection. So that whole area is going to look very different over the next 5 to 10 years.
Station 207 is located in a prime developable area, and it is going to be developed, and at this point it's not staffed. And with the development that's going to be there, it needs to be staffed. The response time, it's unstaffed, so our response time to that area is longer. There's no way to get around that. Whether you're coming from Station 307 or Station 107, the response time to that district is longer from 307 and 107. If it's staffed, it's a quicker response time. And what's the most important chain in any event in the emergency service? It's a fast response.
Seconds count.
Seconds count. So the longer it takes us to get there, the more chance for a medical emergency to get worse, a fire to grow.
There's not a single person in this town that doesn't understand how bad traffic can get on 195, when UConn's in session and whatnot. We have to drive through that. It doesn't matter if lights and sirens are on. If you can't fit through because there's no room, you can't fit through. So that's just an added thing.
We operated with 4 people for many decades in the town of Mansfield as a whole. 1 person at one station, 1 person at another station, and 2 people in the third station. We had an unfortunate situation, and one of our members passed away on duty in the station by himself. History repeated itself, and we had a member working by himself in the station, and he had a medical emergency. By the grace of God, he didn't pass away, but it started his year of not being here to get his medical condition under control and taken care of. When that second time came, that's when we made the conscious decision that we don't want to work alone. We won't work alone, to the best extent that we can. That's what brought the staffing, the 1 person from that station, Station 207, to the center of town at Station 307.
That house should be staffed because of just the development that's going to go on there, and also to decrease our response times to that part of the town. We cover 44.5 square miles. That's a lot of land to cover. And as the population increases, the demand for services are going to increase. So it's important for us to start developing a plan to ensure that we have proper staffing at the firehouse up there at the Four Corners.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. It's a time game. There's only so many minutes in an emergency that you can affect that emergency in a positive outcome. It's minutes by the time we arrive on scene, make decisions, and move in and do something. Without people, those time frames get harder to meet.
How long do you have to rescue somebody off the 3rd floor of a residential structure that is on fire?
Heavily involved in fire.
Yeah, you don't have the time. You got to do it now. Not, well, let's budget our time appropriately
And how
we
do
can
you
figure this out.
How do you get the person in cardiac arrest off the second story, out of the second story of their house with just 2 people in a timely fashion?
We have this model of a 5-4 staffing, 4 being the minimum, 5 being what is we kind of consider normal. The 5 isn't enough. Anytime we don't know what the emergency is that we're going to be going for. At a staffing level of 5, we typically run 2 ambulances. When both of those ambulances are out the door, seeing that over 60, close to 70% of what we do is medical, that leaves 1 person left in this town to protect the entire town. 1 person. It's definitely not enough.
If we were to have a structure fire in stores downtown, or one of these larger complexes that are being built and planned to be built, it's 5 guys on, 2 guys going to see what the fire is. If hose has to be pulled, it's another 2 guys. We're pulling a mutual aid. Mutual aid's potentially 5, 7, 10 minutes away. If we've got victims that we're rescuing, it's too much for 5 people. We can get a good start on things, but we're really taxing our resources. And that's if we're all in the firehouses and stationed. If we're out, an ambulance is out, you're down to 3. If both ambulances out, you're down to 1 and a callback potentially. So
I think as the town continues to grow, it's going to continue to put a strain on our services. The strain is just going to constantly get worse, and there's going to be more of a reliance on mutual aid. When our mutual aid partners are as busy, if not busier than us, then we're going to have to reach out even further for help, and it's going to delay the response times.
When you talk about mutual aid, just look at our numbers. So the town of Mansfield, we responded to about 2,400 calls this year. The town of Willimantic responded to how many? 4,300 calls. And Yukon covers 3,200 calls. Those calls cross over all the time, so that doesn't mean they're available when we want them. They may not even be in quarters, and we're still at 5, or worst case scenario, we're at 2.
what happens when they're out on their calls and we're in South Wyndham Center with an ambulance? Now not only are we losing 2 guys, we're also losing potentially our mutual aid. So again, that reliance on mutual aid, it's a crutch. It can't be, what we put everything into.
In this town, at one time or another, we can have 1, 2, 3 calls going. So mutual aid is coming, and it's going to be a delay. If we're for a medical side, depending on where the call is, and we're already working in 2 other calls, we could have a CPR call on Cedar Swamp Road, and we may get an ambulance out of Ashford or Willington or Coventry to have mutual aid partners come in to do our job because we don't have enough people to do it because we're on other calls. That's unacceptable, and that has to stop.
The first few minutes of any incident is where it's you make it or break it. You need the people right away. It's only 5 more minutes. That next engine company from our mutual aid, closest mutual aid, will be here. That's if they're available.
Out here, like we said, we're getting 5 guys and another, 5 minutes I'd say on average. You're going to get mutual aid with another 4 guys, and then as the other departments kind of fill in, you're 10, 15, 20 minutes in before you're getting the appropriate number of people to be able to attack this fire.
So if we had our staffing was up to the levels of this era, the demand would not be as great on our area, and because we would have the personnel to do the initial job and slow down the whether it be a fire or a mass casualty, and so we could control it and then rely on our resources. We would not put as much demand on our resources. As a resident in this town, it concerns me that we are not growing with our town. Our town is growing. The footprint of our town is what it is. But within the confines of the footprint, we're taking off with large scale properties, commercial properties, residential, new schools, the community center, just to name a few. We know that the Mansfield Four Corners area is going to take off commercially. There's a technical school that's going to be coming into the confines of the old Mansfield Training School. But we're not growing with, and we haven't grown since the mid-60s, are the people that need to protect that from fire and other natural causes. We're not growing there. And to me, that is truly not in the best interest of the town and the taxpayer. I'm frustrated that we are not taking measures to increase our staff. We've identified that, yes, at one time this town had a great volunteer base. That's gone. It's time to look into the future and say that paid staff are a cost of doing business. And if we need paid staff to protect our properties, then that's what we need. And we as leaders, whether it be in the fire department, town administration, town council, we need to take that on and address it and do the right thing.
Look, here's the thing. We provide exceptional service every day. We do it because that's what you hired us to do, and we're all professionals, and we're good at our jobs, and we love our jobs, and it's what we do, right? We always say that. It's what we do.
And sometimes at the expense of ourselves.
Right.
There's times where we will do more than we should because it's what needs to be done to help that individual, and then we're out, we're injured, and now we're trying to fill another hole, something along those lines with staffing, all that kind of stuff. So the things that you see on TV, Chicago Fire, 911, whatever the other shows may be, they show up with a ton of people on a fire truck, and they went into a house, and they're in a dining room or something like that with like 6 or 7 guys. They can see clearly, everything's all perfect. That's not reality at all, in any way, shape, or form. We're showing up routinely with 2 guys on a fire truck.
On a daily basis, that's our reality.
It is our reality.
Is how to do more with less.
Yep.
And I think we do a pretty more than adequate job and provide a exemplary service at the staffing levels are now. But like Chris said, there's a price to be paid for that. And that price is paid by our bodies and our mental well-beings. I mean, that's the reality. And we do it willingly. We love this job, right? We love it. That's why we do it. So,
the more people you have, the more effective you can be, the more efficient you can be.
Can calling car 7.
Car 7.
We'll be dispatching you Mansfield City and South Frontage, motor vehicle accident with injuries.
Received and responding. I'm going to need a mutual aid ambulance on this response. Not sure if you get that transmission from your own.
Car 7, we did at this point in time limited resources. We're seeing if one of your ambulances that's en route to the hospital can do a quick turnaround.
707's on. We are not yet at the hospital due to road conditions. Our ETA at the hospital is 1 minute. We will attempt a quick turn.
Okay, at this point, you're our closest option to that accident at South Frontage in Mansfield City. We're going to assign you to that after you clear up from the hospital.
Car 7 received the update. Could you retone and see if I can get a group recall?
Car 7, third call, urgent care, chest pain.
And Car 7's responding. Let me know what you got for mutual aid ambulance coming in.
Message received. We're still working on that, Chief.
Chief, a fourth call, fall arm injury, will be sending Ashford's ambulance.